welcome to the Pylon to Pylon podcast, where we love football and hate your opinion. This is your host, Skylar Burkhart, joined always by Donnie Druin.
It's another great week for football.
And Austin Berzocco.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for replacing Richie this week. Richie, again, we love you, we miss you, can't wait to have you back on the
Trapped
pod.
in the bakery of Costco. We'll come rescue you, my man. Say the word.
Just make sure you have treats when we get you.
Yeah, just make a really loud bird noise. We got you.
Because we're owl exterminators.
That's right.
Week 7 of the NFL is starting up, boys. I'm excited. Who's excited for Week 7 football? We're almost halfway there.
Not me. My team's on a bye.
Yeah, same. Yeah, the Steelers and Packers are on a bye, so we're just chilling over here.
I don't care for this week.
Yeah.
So you're just fantasy watching now at this point.
Well, my fantasy team's screwed too, so.
Yeah? Yeah?
Well, before we jump into Week 7, let's get right into Week 6. Thank you guys for listening in. You can catch us on iTunes, Spreaker, SoundCloud, YouTube, all that good stuff. Submit questions to the ptppodcast@gmail.com. And also, if you're looking for great seats on any games, especially a couple games coming up here local in the Valley to us, you can catch those. Broncos at Cardinals on Thursday Night Football. You need tickets for that. Go to SeatGiant.com. Enter the code PYLON, P-Y-L-O-N, and get some great discounts on already discounted seats. And watch the game. It's going to be a good game, guys, right? Right?
Yes, it will.
Been ready for it.
Perfect. All right, so we're going to jump back to Week 6, kind of recap it real quick. Thursday Night Football for Week 6. Eagles beat the Giants 34-13. Kind of predictable, don't you guys think?
Yeah, it was another frustrating week for the Giants offense, and the defending Super Bowl champions look to find their groove.
Buccaneers versus Falcons. Falcons come on top 34-29. Good division rival, closer than we were going to
Winston looked good in his comeback game.
Yeah,
He did. Yeah, did you guys watch the end of that game and that, stupid play they drew up?
I did not see the ending. No.
Yeah, so, the last play was, no timeouts left. Jameis Winston was, in the empty set, snapped the ball, did, a little, quarterback keeper up the middle, and they started, doing that little, backyard BS where they just, pass it around. They, lateraled it to Deshaun Jackson at, the 5-yard line, and if Jackson was able to, almost, catch the ball himself, I think he would have been able to, get in for, the last minute, second touchdown. But the ball, bounced and went underneath him, and the ball just rolled out, and that was the end of the game. And Jackson was so pissed that he ended up, kicking the pylon, just, walking out of the stadium.
Wow.
Well, it was a terrible play call for the circumstances. I mean, how do you run a quarterback draw at the last play of the game?
Yeah.
Stupid. That's that Dirk Cutter Buccaneers stupid, but we'll get into that.
Chargers 38-14 against the Browns. Kind of expected. Browns didn't really show up this game, though.
Yeah,
I was surprised of how bad it was for the Browns.
Yeah, that was Pat McAfee's ice-cold lock of the week that he had. He said the Browns are going to take care of business over the Chargers, but it's the opposite.
I'm not kidding. And then we go to Colts to Jets. Jets win 42-34, and Drew Luck gets another loss.
Yeah, he's still putting up numbers, though, man.
He has a worse team now than he did last year.
Yeah, which is really
last
hard
time he
to
played,
say.
I should say.
Yeah, 2016.
No running game, no wide receivers because T.Y.'s hurt, no tight ends, and the defense.
Well, he has Ebron. Ebron's been playing well.
Ebron was hurt last week, though.
I don't know about that one. I actually think he was healthy.
He was on the injury report, so I don't know if he played or not. But
He did play. I think he got a touchdown or two.
He played.
Okay,
I think he got 2.
But still, the defense is... They gave 42 points to Sam Darnold and the rookie Jets.
Yeah.
No defense. Seahawks beat the Raiders 27-3. Kind of saw that coming just because how Raiders are being coached right now, I would say.
Yeah, it's just another week down the black hole for John Gruden and the Raiders.
They got another 10 years of this.
Yeah, $100 million sunk into that, man. Congrats.
Holy in that black hole.
guaranteed.
Congrats.
Panthers lose to the Redskins 17-23. A lot of people said the Panthers were going to win and win in a good fashion, and Redskins came out and kind of gave them the upset.
Well, like we talked about last week, the Redskins are one of the more, I feel underrated teams in the league just because they're not talked. There's no sexy names in that team besides Alex Smith. But
And I expected them to win, too, so I expected them to win because, the Redskins have a good, nice passing to back set with Adrian Peterson, Chris Thompson. Granted, Thompson didn't play, but Adrian Peterson's still looking like a good dude.
Hey, he's caught a couple passes the last couple of weeks, man. I don't know where that came from.
Yeah.
He knows how to catch ball. Bills versus Texans. Bills lose 13-20. Texans must need to win for this one to even keep their playoff hopes alive.
That game was... Did either of you watch that game?
I did. I watched the whole thing.
I didn't catch a lot of it.
It was a bad
That game
game.
sucked.
I mean, it was both defenses were good, but both offenses were terrible.
Josh Allen and Deshaun Watson looked like first-year college QBs.
Yep.
They looked horrible.
Terrible. Cardinals versus Vikings. Cardinals lose 17-27. Josh Rosen gets another loss on his record, while the Vikings look to be picking up steam.
Yeah, I think it's kind of what we expected. The rookie quarterback going into Minnesota. Granted, Josh Allen did the same thing, but I think that was that 1% chance of that happening. But
I mean, he hurdled Anthony Barr there.
yeah, really.
We'll touch up a little bit on that game earlier. You know what I'm talking about for that one. Steelers versus Bengals. Steelers pull off the last second win, 28-21 off an Antonio Brown pass.
Yep.
Very controversial, by the way.
How?
Why?
How's that controversial?
Because of the pick play, quote unquote.
That was legal.
That was 100% legal.
You know how people go, though.
Yeah, that play 9.9 times out of 10 is not having a flag thrown on it.
Because I thought it was clean, but then
He didn't make-
It was clean. The
He didn't make
defender,
contact on the
the
defender
defender
until Brown had
engaged
the ball.
the defender engaged contact with the wide
See,
receiver.
I agree with you, but then I watched the plays. I was like, I can see that's a pick, but I mean, that's not even really a pick that you'd see in other ones where they clearly just knock that dude over and block him. Bears versus Dolphins in overtime. Bears missed the field goal and lose to the Dolphins when they make
Now,
that field goal.
hang on. Don't forget to say that they were going to win that game out when Kenyon Drake was on the half-yard line, and Adam Gase, for whatever reason, is like, I'm going to call a shotgun run play.
Yep.
Actually, it was the read option. He called the read option on the half-yard line.
Well, didn't Kenyon Drake also fumble at the goal line in overtime as well?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
They had the chance to win it, and Kenyon Drake fumbled, diving. He would have scored had he not fumbled.
He came off the block, and then some of the ball just fell out. Kind of like he lost his footing, and then it affected his upper body, and then he fumbled. It was the weirdest looking thing I've seen.
All I know is Brock Osweiler is now 4-0 as a starter against the Bears.
And it's 4 different teams. 4 different teams against. That's crazy.
Texans, Broncos, Dolphins, and who's the fourth team?
I can't tell you off the top of my head, but I know it's not pretty.
The Browns? No, he didn't start for the Browns.
They would love to have him before Baker.
Osweiler?
Yeah.
No, he was traded to the Browns for probably a minute and 4 seconds.
But who did he beat for the fourth team? Because Scott said it was 4 different teams.
So
he's 4-0 against the Bears.
He's played for the Broncos, the Texans,
the Browns.
Yeah, the Browns.
So it probably was the Browns then.
No, he didn't start a game for them.
Osweiler. I can't think, no.
Yeah, so it must have been 2 at Denver then, or 2 in Houston.
Rams versus Broncos, close win in the snowy conditions. Not really snow in the field, but it was 26 degrees, second coldest home game for the Broncos. I think it was like 1960 or something crazy like that. Rams squeak it out 23-20. Yeah.
Only 26 degrees was their second coldest game? That's surprising.
It is really. They said that in the game. I thought that was really interesting. I was like, wow, from the Mile High City, that's really interesting.
Yeah, Todd Gurley watched Saquon Barkley on Thursday night. Was like, let me take the spotlight back from a young man.
Hold my beer.
Yeah.
It's okay. Saquon's going to go off Monday night against the Falcons, so.
Well, it's projected. I don't think he's going to go off. I think this Falcons defense maybe holds a little bit better. We'll see how it goes. I mean, Giants offense is very unpredictable. Ravens get a shutout again, 21-0 against the Titans. And I know a couple of us thought Titans would win this one.
More sacks than completions for the Ravens defense.
Versus Mariota.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah, that is a crazy stat. That defense is legit for.
Oh no! Shout out to Richie Bradshaw. He was on Twitter and he was saying, "I won't hear any other arguments for the Ravens defense not being number one." And he's right.
Check out his article.
Yeah, I can't think of any other defense right now that's hotter than them and playing better football.
Yeah, I mean they have their games, but the last 3 weeks they've been fired.
Really elevated them.
Oh yeah.
Well, Jimmy Smith's the lockdown corner.
Yeah. Cowboys pulling up the upset here. Beating the Jaguars 40-7.
This was the
I don't
biggest
think
upset, I think
anybody expected this game to happen. I can understand maybe teetering around the points of wanting an upset to happen, but the fashion that it happened. Shout out to Conor McGregor for giving them the inspiration.
I know.
Whoop that ass.
Can't do a football, but can definitely help.
But I don't know if it's just because how loud Jalen Ramsey is, but I was feeling really confident about the Jaguars going into that game.
I was too. Their offense did not show up this game whatsoever, though. Blake Bortles, like I said last week, which Blake Bortles are we going to get? And we got the bad one this week.
I'm surprised they didn't try to make a move at the end of the preseason for Teddy Bridgewater to at least have that safety net Bortles if Bortles ended up playing bad, and he has not played good.
You got a Super Bowl caliber defense. You're not going to be able to hang on to them forever.
You have a 35-year window.
And you're wasting your years away with Blake Bortles? Come on.
I know. And if you draft a rookie QB, you're going to take another year or 2 years to get going, then you have 1 or 2 years left with the defense.
So, 2 big games coming up here. Chiefs versus Patriots on Sunday Night Football. This was the best game of the week, I think, in my opinion.
That was a fun game.
Was incredible. You're talking about Mahomes high scoring, and Tom Brady's like, no, I'm not losing to you. This was a good game. 40-43 Patriots win.
Yeah, I just feel like even though the Chiefs lost, and the 83 points is amazing for Sunday Night Football, it's about time we got a good game. I just think even though the Chiefs lost, Patrick Mahomes, way to come back. Like, it's such like a young kid going through, the adversity the last couple of weeks. He had to lead them against a game-winning drive in Denver, and he has to come back and pull this kind of stuff against the Patriots. The Chiefs were out cold in that game. They were down by multiple possessions going to the fourth quarter, and Mahomes proved he can light it at any given time.
Him and Tyreek Hill.
Yeah,
they can score any play at any point in the field. It just irritates me that people, are saying, "Oh, Mahomes and the Patriots are better than the Chiefs and all that stuff," and that Mahomes didn't play that great of a game. And I'm like, what the hell? He put up 40 points.
Yeah, somebody on Twitter was like, "Show me the pinpoint passes he made," and I'm like, "Oh, you mean almost every single throw he made? Are you kidding me?"
He put up 40 points against a quote unquote good Patriots defense that is supposedly supposed to keep first or second year starting QBs under control, and he lit them up. It just drives me nuts that people are trying to say Mahomes didn't have a good game.
Completely agree.
Monday Night Football, another good one as well. 49ers versus Packers. Packers come on top 33-30. What a game. I actually went back and watched this because I missed it. But what a freaking... I did. I was busy doing some podcast stuff, but...
I was at work, so...
I went back and watched it, though. I did go back and watch it, and I mean to tell you, Aaron Rodgers put on a show at the end. He was like, I am not losing this game.
I thought for certain he was going to make us go to OT because with 6 seconds left, he looks over to Mike McCarthy and he's like, one more play. Give me one more play. With 6 seconds left. And
the cojones on Aaron Rodgers are boulders at this point.
I'm telling you guys, greatest.
Yeah. But somebody on this podcast thinks that Tom Brady's better.
Somebody on this podcast thinks Aaron Rodgers is overrated.
See, this is what I'd say. Aaron Rodgers is the most talented, but Tom Brady's the greatest ever.
Yeah, you got it completely opposite there, though. It should
be. So you see Tom Brady's more talented?
No, it should be Rodgers is the greatest ever because that's off of pure skill and ability.
But Brady's the most
accomplished because that is a Super Bowl stat.
I will accept that argument.
We'll talk about that later on a different podcast. We don't have time to argue that. And that was week 7. Week 6. And what was your best game of week 6, do you guys think?
I think it's another unanimous one. It's Patriots Chiefs. Sunday Night Football.
That was a good game. That's the game you want to see on Sunday Night
Football. You can make an argument the Dolphins and the Bears game was really entertaining.
That really was.
And that one went to the wire in OT.
I mean, you can argue Packers 49ers too, just because it was close. And it was, no one thought the 49ers would show up this well.
But you had the marquee matchup, and it did not disappoint with the Chiefs and the Patriots. That's probably going to be your AFC Championship game right there.
No kidding. So to wrap up week 6, we got some injuries. Donnie, what were some of the injuries that we saw week 6?
Well, we all saw the thing that happened today. Devontae Freeman's actually going to be heading to the IR for at least 8 more weeks with a groin injury. He's supposed to be getting surgery, so we'll keep a lookout for that.
Yeah, that came out of nowhere because I thought it was a knee bruise.
That really did. Yeah, no, I don't know if it was just like misdiagnosis or anything like that, but
because they were even just talking about it the other day, saying that they were going to let him rest this week, and then he'd probably be out this upcoming week, and then they have a bye week, and then he'd be back to play. But they thought because he had the foot injury at first, and then he had, I think it was either a knee or a thigh bruise or something like that happened in the game that he came back in, and he was supposed to be back after the bye week, and now it's a groin injury. Like, he signed a big contract, not this past offseason, but the one before that, because he's in year 2 of his contract. I don't know, man. If he can't stay on the field, how much longer did the Falcons put up with that?
Right. No, and it's not like his contract is by any means like cap breaking.
He was the second highest paid before Gurley, Johnson, all them got paid.
No, right, but he's not getting like Gurley, Johnson, Le'Veon Bell money right now. He's only making $8 or $9 million a year.
He has
right?
$8 million.
Yeah, so that's certainly one to keep the eye on. Khalil Mack is going to undergo test for an injured right ankle. He hurt it last week. He's able to go back into the game, but they're just going to run tests just to see if anything was actually damaged or not.
They said that it took a lot for him to come back in and play.
Yeah, no, Mack's a beast for sure. Mike Hughes tore his ACL at the exact same yard line Dalvin Cook did last year. 27-yard line, same side of the field too. Yep.
That's a big hit to the defense because that kid is playing great.
Yeah, Mike Hughes is playing really well. So torn ACL will be out for the year. Giants tight end Evan Ingram, who's able to practice Tuesday. There were reports of him that were saying he was going to be able to go last week. Didn't make the cut at game time, so he should be good to go for next week or this upcoming week as well.
T.Y. Hilton should be coming back this week.
Yep. Niles Paul's going to miss some time with a sprained MCL. Jaguars don't have any luck at tight end, dude.
Or running
back. Between Austin Frey and Jacobs being out, now Niles Paul is going to miss some time as well. One of the biggest stories, Josh Allen has already been ruled out by his coach for week number 7 with injured UCL. Is the actual diagnosis.
When I was talking with a group chat with Connor Drios, he was saying that that's a pre-diagnosis for what could be Tommy John surgery, like the major injury that baseball pitchers have that they never come back the same from. He was saying that if it gets worse, it could lead to that.
Interesting.
He said in the group chat. I don't know if you saw it or not.
I did. Cooper Kupp suffered a MCL sprain against the Broncos in a Week 6 win. Quote, Kupp could miss some time, but aren't sure yet. So his availability is still up in the air if he misses any time at all. I expect he will miss a week or two with it.
It looked like he tore his ACL when he did it. I'm surprised.
His ankle and knee bent so bad. It looked horrible. They carted him off. It looked bad.
Quincy Nunwa has been diagnosed with a high ankle sprain. He's expected to miss a couple weeks at least, anywhere between 2 to 4. Matt Bryant, the Falcons kicker, is likely to miss Monday Night Football with a hamstring injury next week. Ryan Tannehill is still day-to-day after missing last week's game where Brock Lesnar went in and got the Dolphins to win. Let's see. Rod Shader was placed on IR this week. A neck injury, so that's real unfortunate to hear. And, that about wraps it up.
Yeah.
Going right into our main meat, though, we're going to jump right off to the hot take, the big fire under us. Bucks fired defensive coordinator Mike Smith after making him the highest-paid defensive coordinator last year. Or was it earlier this year?
I don't know when it was, but he deserved to be fired.
He definitely did. That was a porous defense for how good their offense has been playing.
They were on pace to break every major statistical defensive passing-wise record this season. And it's not like they didn't add bodies up front that were talented football players or people that in the secondary can't play.
Right, no, that's the weird part is that they have talent all over that defense, dude.
It's like the Packers.
Yeah, and they just can't perform. And the Buccaneers are 2-3. I think we can all agree they're in a better spot than what we expected them to be in at this point in the season. Yeah. Even Richie had them
worst
team in football, getting the number 1 pick next year. So they can still trend towards that. They've only got 2 wins through 6 weeks of football, one being a bye week. But no, man, I'm reading over here that they spent $88 million in 2018 cap space to their defense, which is 6th most in the NFL, and have been giving up almost 440 yards per game.
Now you got to also wonder if a lot of that was they were lighting it up the first couple of weeks.
Yeah,
and it's not like they played bad opponents the first 2 weeks. They played Drew Brees and the Saints week 1. And then week 2, who did they play? It was another quality football team. Anyways,
The Eagles beat them 27-21.
But so they've played quality opponents that could put up points. It's not like they let, Buffalo Josh Allen or Arizona Cardinals Josh Rosen come in and light them up for 4.
Right, so the quarterbacks they played so far, Drew Brees, Carson Wentz didn't play against them. It was Nick Foles. Ben Roethlisberger, Mitch Trubisky, and then Matt Ryan. Yeah, that's not a terrible string of quarterbacks.
That's a solid string. Those are 5 starters right there. 5 undisputed starters. Maybe make a case that Trubisky's not that great of a QB, but the other 4 have been starters for 5+ years, except for Nick Foles, but he won a Super Bowl.
Right.
So, not like any slouches were in that list.
No, I think Dirk Cutter needed to make a move and needed to make a statement for the team. And sometimes
his seat's getting hot.
Oh yeah. Well, sometimes all you need is a new face in the locker room to kind of revitalize it.
Yeah.
And I don't think anybody on Tampa Bay's defense is sad to see him go.
No.
I think they're well aware of how poorly they've been playing the last couple of weeks.
Sticking on the defensive side of the ball, Rex Ryan, ex-defensive coordinator and head coach, said that the Jaguars' defense is overrated. Do we agree on that statement?
I'm hesitant to slap the overrated tag on them. The past couple weeks, they've been playing really bad football. But I just think as a whole, they're still one of the best defensive units in the NFL.
Talent-wise, they are, yeah. But you also have to look at their offense is doing them no favors. Their offense is going 3 and out and not sustaining any drives, so they're going out there gassed.
Well, if you're on the field for 70, 80 plays a game, you're going to give up points.
Yeah. It's physically impossible to not keep them out of the end zone the more tries they get. So I don't know.
Something's going to work and they're going to get a score.
I feel like overrated is the wrong term to use. I would say
overused.
Underperforming right now.
Yeah,
but it's not all their fault. 802 yards given up the last 2 weeks of offense.
And what was it before then?
We'll have to look.
When Bortles was playing
good football?
Yeah, actually
good football,
decent football.
But just sustaining drives.
Well, even after giving up over 800 yards the last 2 weeks, they're still the number 2 defense in football.
So I should tell you that they're not that overrated.
I think it's a little bit of just how the league's transformed to this high-flying, offensive-minded first league. So,
Hey, I mean, look at the Cardinals. Their defense is not a slouch by any means, but they're on the field all the time.
Yep.
Who?
The Cardinals.
Never heard of them. So, sticking on the defense once again. I know we love talking about this guy. I know Donnie's a little heated, and Richie usually is too. Vontaze Burfict. And the dirty hits are back again. Only 2 weeks in of him being back. When is enough, Donnie? When is it enough?
He's a piece of shit.
It's already been enough.
Yeah.
It's a horrible look for the NFL.
How many times do you need to let that man go out there before you realize that his intent is to hurt people and end careers and livelihoods?
Did you catch the video where he was pointing out to Juju saying you're next?
I saw the reports of that because Roethlisberger mentioned it in his post-game press conference. Haven't actually seen the video of it.
So Juju kind of goes in motion on the pass, and Vontaze Burfict is back there, and you see him kind of point, and at that point you can tell him he's saying you're next, and he points twice to Juju.
Hey, Juju lit his ass up last year, so
he wants revenge. But it's a dirty thing for the NFL. Like, this guy needs to be suspended for life. It's at that point. This dude does not care. He is out to hurt people.
I just watched that video. Yeah, that's easy to see in broad daylight.
Yep.
What surprises me is you have Ezekiel Elliott, who is accused, never found guilty of, but accused of beating his ex-girlfriend, who gets a 6-week suspension and is then told if anything else happens, you're going to be banned for life. But you have Vontaze Burfict, who is going on his, 5th or 6th offense?
Yeah.
20th.
Feels like it, huh?
And, dude, it's getting to the point where he got suspended from a preseason hit. He's been... This game was what I would draw the line if I was the NFL. You know people are watching this because it's going to be a quote-unquote...
And this is where most of his dirty hits come from, is against the Steelers.
Well, that's just it. It's the expectation, and then he actually goes through with it.
That game... For them, besides that play where he elbowed Antonio Brown going down, that was a really clean game. Guys were getting up in each other's face and yelling. So that's a division rivalry.
Yeah.
But, there were no dirty hits. There was no cheap shots.
There was one. He did a headbutt to him. There's 2 Bengals defenders. I forget who it was. I think it was Antonio Brown that tackled him, and Vontaze Burfict came in like a spearhead right to the head.
Well, no, that was the play where Burfict leveled his elbow into Brown's head. No, Burfict didn't hit anybody with his helmet. Burfict came in and laid his elbow into him. That's the play Antonio Brown had to go out for a couple plays.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's enough is enough, man. His longest suspension has been 3 games.
Yeah, and he even tried to appeal that as well. So what do you do at this point? What's the proper suspension?
You review it, you take into account his past, and distribute the punishment accordingly.
Clearly, taking the money out of the dude's pocket isn't doing anything.
No, he don't care.
I mean, I've said this before. The penalty should cost more. If it's like these kind of hits and they're dirty and it keeps happening, it should quadruple or whatnot.
If TJ Watt got fined $20,000
on his rookie deal
for gliding past Matt Ryan's knee, I can't wait to see what this number is going to be.
You know,
it's going to be $5.
Probably.
They should start making it to where if it's deemed in malicious intent, that it's an automatic ejection and a forfeiture of the paycheck and the next week's paycheck.
Ooh, I like it. Why not?
To be fair, like it was kind of like a bang play, and like I didn't myself notice that Burfict threw his elbow in until after the replay, and obviously you can't eject a guy like after that. At least how the current rules are set up. Something's got to change. This league's a joke. It has been, and it always will be, as long as Roger Goodell's still the commissioner.
He just wants the money. He doesn't care about the players at all.
We'll see.
He cares about the players.
We'll see with the new CBA ending. Oh, sorry, coming
That's
up.
That's gonna be ugly. We know.
I think we're gonna see another lockout.
Oh, it's gonna be an uncapped year
because the NFLPA is done. You know, they're tired of all of these owners taking advantage of these players and making so much money off of them. But
I can't wait to see us cover that. This is going to be hot. Is it time to talk about Adam Thielen as one of the best receivers in the game? Flip into the offensive side of the field here.
I think you can't ignore him now.
So I put up a kind of a feeler out there in a what do you want to call it? A Twitter poll. I'll give the results in just a minute, but I was like, is he top 5 in the game? And surprisingly, there was a couple people that said he's not even the top 25, which I thought was kind of upsetting.
Top 25.
Top 25 for sure.
Yeah.
I can understand.
Top 5 is iffy.
Yeah, I can understand not putting him in the top 5 just because of his physical tools, but you can easily put him in the top 10.
I'll take AB over him. I'll take Julio over him.
Hopkins.
I'll take Hopkins. I'll take Odell.
Julio.
At Devontae.
Come on, Skyler.
Come
on, Skyler.
Julio's not as consistent as you'd like him to be under Matt Ryan. You know what I mean?
He just doesn't score touchdowns. Yeah, he just
That's
doesn't
a big factor, though. You know what I mean?
That's not him. That's the offensive coordinator refusing to put plays up to get in the end zone.
It depends how you rank them. Where was my...
Would you rather
physical tools? I would take Julio over Adam Thielen.
Would you rather have Thielen or AJ Green?
Ooh, AJ
That's
Green.
A good one.
Thielen. AJ Green's a big boy, but Thielen gets more reception.
Yeah, I'd go off of age. I'd take Thielen.
I think I have to agree at this point.
Yeah, just because of age. If AJ Green was 24, then yeah, AJ Green. But
yeah.
Well, what about Devontae Adams? Two similar age receivers there.
Yeah, no, Adams isn't really getting talked about as top 5
Adams
receiver.
Is a top 5 receiver, man.
So
he's top
for my poll, 103 people voted, and 54% yes, he's in the top 5. 15% said no, 27% said top 10, and 4% said top 25.
Interesting.
I don't know. It's kind of weird how there was a lot more a lot of no in the top 5, more in the top 10 region there, and 54% said top 5. So I'd like to put out there and say, who is your top 5 if you put Thielen up there? Who would you kick out of there if you listed all your...
I think we just talked about it. I think it's AJ Green.
Yeah.
I think so, too. I mean, do you put Odell out of the top 5 after how his play's been with Eli Manning?
No.
That's Eli.
That's completely Eli.
And that's hard to go with these wide receivers. Do you rank their top 5 in their skill talent, their stats? It's kind of weird.
A little bit of both. You do it both. You take into account both.
Yeah, numbers don't tell everything, but at the same time, numbers speak volumes as the actual production. But
especially for Thielen in his 6 games over 100 plus yards.
And that's with Stephon Diggs on the other side of the field.
And Diggs not getting bad numbers either.
Question, is it because he has Stephon Diggs on the other side of the field?
I don't think so, because I've watched his route running. I watch Vikings football every week.
No, I'm not taking anything away from Thielen. I think Thielen's a great receiver. I think, like I said, I put him top 10. But is he seeing a lot more single coverage looks because teams are going to give more attention to Diggs?
I think that argument could have been made last year, but I don't think you can sway coverage one way or the other.
I think Diggs is more explosive as a player, though.
I would agree.
So I would definitely put a little bit more coverage towards Diggs, just because I don't want to give up the home run shot. But Thielen this year has shown he can be the home run shot. He had one play against the Packers, 40-yard touchdown in double coverage. So I think he's starting to get more of a double team look, but Diggs definitely has helped him.
But how much? That's the real question.
I don't know. Well, you can make the same argument for Juju on the Steelers. You know, how much is having Antonio Brown on the other side of the field help him?
Because Juju gets targets, he gets catches, he's stretching the field just as much as Antonio Brown does. How much do they really help each other?
Yeah.
Same way with Cooper Kupp this year, emerging out of his shell. You got
Woods,
Brandon Cooks and Robert Woods. Yeah.
And Robert Woods is an all-round weapon. So how much do they really help each other? If we just had one of them, would they be just as effective? We don't know.
Well, Robert Woods, I think, would still put up the numbers he puts up.
I think he would too.
Woods.
I honestly would.
Yeah.
Cooper Kupp, I think he'd still put up the numbers. He's still young, but I think he could still put up the stat line he does because he's really good at route running. So with Thielen being the, where would you put him? You said 5?
Yeah, I'd put him number 5.
I'd put him 6 to 8.
I'd put him 5. I think that's where I'd put him. So wrapping up the Adam Thielen talk, offense, defense, all that main meat of our podcast. We're going to go into week 7. We're going to go through the games here. We're going to go for, give me your upset, say it as we're going along, and then you're going to give me your cold hard lock of the week, and then we'll finish up with fantasy football after.
Good deal.
Perfect. So first game here, Thursday Night Football, Broncos versus Cardinals.
I'm going with the upset. I'm going with the Cardinals.
Yeah, I'll take the Cardinals at home on a short week.
I don't know if you guys heard or not, but rumor had it McCoy was going to get canned Monday, had they not played on Thursday. So I say watch out for watch out for McCoy to pull out everything.
Okay, here's my problem. Who do you replace him with?
Oh, you're not going to like my choice.
Don't say Byron Leftwich.
I'm going to say Byron Leftwich.
Byron Leftwich is garbage.
Is it John Fox?
He was he was not that great of an NFL quarterback, but how can you can't say he can't be a coach then. He still was able to process defenses and be a starter in the league. He may not have been able to make the throws, but as a play caller, he could succeed.
You're gonna put your franchise's hands and with the play calling of if you're making him interim head coach.
No, what am I going to make him? I'm not making him interim head coach. Mike McCoy was going to get canned.
Okay.
I'll make him offensive coordinator. I give him 10 weeks to see if he can do any better than that piece of garbage Mike McCoy. And then if he does better, then we interview him in the offseason along with other candidates for the offensive coordinator position, or we just give it to him. One of the two. But he has to prove himself over the next 10 weeks to even have a shot at the gig.
So you're basically you're pulling the Suns with their interim head coach last year is basically what we're doing.
What? I don't get what you're trying to say.
So the Suns last year had an interim head coach. They fired their coach at the beginning of the season, had an interim coach for the rest of the season, see how he did. They interviewed our candidates and kicked him to the curb. Basically the same thing you're doing with Leftwich.
Well, it'd be not. The Suns were horrible last year, though. Even with that interim head coach, they had the number 1 pick.
I'm just saying, it's a theme of Phoenix is what I'm getting at. Like Arizona, they're just passing on the interim coach.
No, and he wouldn't be an interim head coach. He'd be an offensive coordinator because Mike McCoy, to be honest, has not done anything that should even justify, even last season, to justify that he should be an offensive coordinator now.
Could you see John Fox coming back?
Not in the middle of the season. You're not going to bring in somebody to completely revamp that, overhaul that offense. You're not going to see that in the middle of the season.
Do you promote internally?
Yes, Byron Leftwich.
But it's just like, what's the benefit of having Byron Leftwich call your plays?
A more diverse offense that could get.
How do we know that?
How do you not know that though?
I don't work for the Cardinals, so I don't know.
Dude, that's why. That's
I don't
what I'm
know
saying.
what he does in his free time.
Mike McCoy. Okay, I think we're all consensus here. Mike McCoy needs to go.
Yeah, he's terrible.
Okay,
yeah, he needs to go.
You're clearly going to get rid of Mike McCoy, and probably after Thursday because you have a mini bye week at that point. You're not going to hire externally because you're not going to basically bring in a whole nother salary to pay and you're relearn a whole new offense. So your offensive line has been horrible. Your receivers have been horrible. And when you put in a competent quarterback, he's played pretty well.
Wait a minute. Why not bring in the offensive coordinator externally? You have no shot at the playoffs. Why not?
Well, dude, reinstalling a new offense in the middle of a season
that takes months.
Yeah,
but you're out of the playoff shot already. Why not?
Why do you want to look like you would look worse than what Mike McCoy had out there?
Who cares? You're gonna have a good draft pick and get a good shot at some skilled player that you need.
They're gonna get that no matter what. You got to see if you can find somebody to put the ball in the end zone.
Coordinator.
So basically, what I'm gathering is, like Austin said, we can all agree McCoy needs to go.
Yes.
McCoy is not the answer to that offensive coordinator. The argument against hiring somebody from the outside is, one, it's the middle of the season. You don't want to waste more salary on it. 2, you keep things plain and simple for the guys already there who already know that system. And like 3, you give Byron Leftwich or whoever else in the organization a chance to run an offense. 1, if he does bad, great. We're in the same freaking boat we were.
Exactly.
2, you can see what he's able to do with the play calling, like it's already set, the system in place. You see what he's able to do.
I think the biggest thing with McCoy's offense is he doesn't use David Johnson.
It's ridiculous, man.
He doesn't use him properly. The amount of times that I've seen him stay into pass pro, like you can't line him up
And
out
like,
wide
you
receiver.
just paid him.
I know.
You just paid him.
And you give him 12 to 15 touches a game.
Le'Veon Bell should have been a Cardinal.
Imagine him and freaking DJ.
Well, let me throw this out there. Who wants to take the bet then? I'll buy you an alcoholic beverage if the Cardinals make Brian Leftwich their offensive coordinator, but you buy me one if they hire externally.
I'll take that bet.
You'll take that bet?
Hold on, we need to establish the rules here. Okay,
But if not-
what if they don't hire Leftwich but hire somebody in the organization?
That'd be this side right here.
Yeah.
That'd
be
that'd
Austin.
not. Oh, you want?
I want internal, you take external. If he gets fired.
We can do that.
All right.
Okay, yeah, I'll take that.
Okay.
Go.
Us two have internal, you have external.
Perfect. We'll do it.
Is this
All right.
just one alcoholic drink or
No,
totally
it's
get
the...
One each.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
one each is
Okay.
fine. Yeah, one each is fine.
Sounds
You
good.
get- so, like, if I win, you each buy me one. If it
Yeah.
gives, I'll buy you each one.
Yep.
Sounds like a deal, man.
You heard it here live on PGB Podcast. See what happens.
Handshake. Handshake. Handshake.
Handshake.
Handshake.
Handshake.
Oh, just wait till next
Oh,
week.
yeah.
We win this, baby.
What's going to be sad is watching that fire and we'll be sitting here like, this is dumb. So let's jump into the next game after getting caught with that. Titans versus Chargers.
I'll
Do you believe
take the
in
Chargers
Titans
at
anymore?
home.
Do you believe in the Titans anymore?
They're too inconsistent. No.
What?
But
I saw somebody say, can you bring back, who was their head coach last year? Was it Munchak?
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, Munchak.
It's
Mike
like
Munchak.
somebody can Munchak come back and coach the offense, and Vrabel keep on, or not Vrabel, Vrabel coaching.
That's Vrabel.
The defense, because the defense is playing good.
Yeah.
They're playing a lot better than people thought, but the offense is miserable.
Do you think they do a firing too if it keeps up? Because, I mean, they're not
Nah,
horrible on offense, but-
They've had some games they've actually put up points.
Yeah.
The run game is non-existent about. It's always on Mariota to win those games.
Derrick Henry has had no more than 8 touches per game.
And Deion
So let
Lewis
that
doesn't have
sink
much
in.
either.
Deion Lewis catches the ball.
Yeah,
in the
Deion
backfield.
Lewis
But
gets
you-
a
that's
lot
the
of
reason
You
targets.
have
He's not getting a
a
lot.
battering ram at running back, and you're not going to give it to him 15
A young,
18
fresh
times.
battering ram.
Yeah.
No tread on the tires.
Exactly. And doesn't fumble the ball. Can't catch the ball, but doesn't fumble the
I don't
ball.
need to catch the ball. Just go up that
Exactly.
middle. Give me 4 yards.
So, who do you take?
I'm taking the Chargers.
I'll take the Chargers as
I'll
well.
take Chargers too. Too inconsistent on Titans end. Kind of a better game. I don't think it's going to be that good of a game. Panthers versus Eagles.
You don't think that's going to be a good game?
I don't believe in the
I think it
Eagles.
should be a good game.
I don't believe in the Eagles whatsoever.
Yeah,
I said this
I'll
all
take the
year
Eagles
long,
in
and I've
this
been
matchup.
right so far. I don't believe in them. I'm taking Panthers.
I'll take the Eagles.
Oh, that is a tough game.
I do
though.
love me some
They
Cam
match
Newton.
up good.
They do.
I'm gonna take the Cam Newton. I'm gonna take Cam Newton in that defense.
I take Cam Newton and Christian McCaffrey having a big game. I mean, Eagles' defensive line is good. Their secondary is okay. I just think McCaffrey's too much for them to handle. Vikings versus Jets.
That's an easy one.
Yeah, Vikings.
Hey, you never know. We saw the Bills beat them.
Yeah,
so.
you never know. That's true.
I'm taking Vikings on this one. Speaking of Bills versus Colts.
This is
I'll
a
take the
battle
Colts.
of the poor teams.
Yeah, really.
But I'm going to take the Colts knowing that Nathan Peterman is
Yup.
probably going to get the start. So,
Yep.
Did you
give me-
watch that game last week by chance?
Dude, he went in for 2 series and threw 3 series.
interceptions.
3 series. First series, you looked great, threw a touchdown. Then the next series, threw an absolutely god-awful pick 6. And then the series after that, threw a god-awful pick. So, give me Indianapolis.
Yes, by a long shot. If Peterman is your quarterback, you're screwed. I'm sorry, you're screwed. Get a new quarterback and pick up anyone off the street. Patriots and Bears.
This is my upset. I'm going to take Chicago.
You take Chicago?
I'm gonna take Chicago.
I like that one.
This is my lock. I'm taking New England.
Ooh,
All right.
Okay.
You know what? I think it's the Patriots for this reason. If you didn't catch this, Bill Belichick came out to the media and said that Josh Gordon is increasing reps every game. They're giving more reps and more flexibility in the playbook. That means
Ooh,
bigger target, more touchdowns for the Patriots. Their offense is getting easier for him to learn. They said Josh Gordon is a really smart kid. So with that being said, I think Patriots are going to start getting on a roll with their new number one wide receiver, and that's going to help them a lot. So I'm going to take Patriots. Next up, Browns and Buccaneers.
Browns.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Browns as well. Buccaneers are in a bad place right now.
I think it'd be a shootout.
I think
30
Bucs
plus
win.
on each side.
I think the Bucs win because Jameis Winston's look good. I don't like Jameis Winston, but his performance last week, even with the 2 interceptions, he looked good enough to beat the Browns. And I think this defensive change is going to help him out, and I think Bucs pull off the win. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think it's going to be close.
Yeah, I think it'll be a close game, just a lot of points.
And let's see here. Texans at Jaguars.
I'm going to take the Jags on a bounce back.
Yeah, I think the Jaguars bounce back, especially defensively.
I'm going to take this as my lock of the week, Texans.
Okay.
I think Texans need to get their offense on a roll. They've been very lacking, and they always play well against Jacksonville. If you look at the last year, they actually played good against Jacksonville both games. DeAndre Hopkins actually had really good numbers against them as well, surprisingly not being guarded by Jalen Ramsey and CJ Bouye.
AJ Boyd.
AJ Bouye. So I think Texans win it. I think we see Thad Bortles again because you have J.J. Watt and Clowney. So I think he gets kind of rattled, and I think Texans win it by more than a touchdown.
All right.
Lions and Dolphins.
Take the Lions.
I'm going to go. Would you count that as an upset with the Dolphins or no?
I can understand that, yeah.
I don't know because the Lions are their record doesn't reflect.
The Dolphins are 4-2 or 5-1. Which one?
They just lost again. No, they just won.
They beat Chicago. Did they beat Cincinnati?
No, they lost to Cincinnati.
They're
Cincinnati came
4-2,
back.
so they're actually the favorite. So I'm not going to. That's not my upset. But I'm going Miami.
I want the Lions. Their
I'll take
offense
Detroit
is
off of a
hot.
bye. Yeah.
They're a hot offense right now, and their defense just needs to get it together. I mean, they have a lot of talent on defense, especially with Darius Slay. They just need to click.
I'm not confident in either Tannehill or Osweiler to get them another win.
Not consistent enough, no. Saints at Ravens. This
Yeah.
is a game.
gonna
This
be a
is my
game.
game of the week.
Yep, my
This is
game.
also
of the
my
week,
game
too.
of the week.
This is the number one ranked defense, high scoring offense with Ingram back, just coming off a bye week. Ooh.
Upset of the week, Baltimore.
Do you think they're the upset?
Baltimore would technically be the underdog
Okay, I just want to see.
because the Saints had that huge game. Are the Saints at home?
No,
No, they're in Baltimore.
it's in Baltimore.
Maybe Baltimore. Baltimore might be favored to win that. Well, if they're the underdogs, they're my upset. But I have Baltimore regardless.
I'm going to take the Saints. It's
It's
hard
tough.
to stop Kamara and Ingram, and they kind of held back in Kamara before the bye to give him more rest going into the bye. They're going to unleash all hell on this offensive playbook.
You're
Get
just
everything.
saying that because you think Kamara's going to go off for your fantasy team.
No, I don't think he's going to go off. I think they're both going to go off just because we saw it last year. These guys are hard to stop when they're both on the field and playing at a high level.
I think I'll take the Ravens, man. It's
I don't blame you. That defense looks great.
Yeah, it does.
It's all on Drew Brees at this point. He's going to make the decision making. He's going to be passing to Mike Thomas. Jimmy Smith has a lot to guard on this game, so it's going to be an interesting game. Division rivalry here: Cowboys or Redskins.
This is my lock to week. I'll take the Cowboys.
Wow.
Yeah. I think that Jaguars game really lit a
Would you
fire
say that you're
underneath them.
upset even? I mean, Cowboys are not a good team, and Redskins have been hot, and they beat the Panthers.
I'm not. My upset was the Bears over the Patriots. It's going to be my lock.
What do you think, Austin?
Shout out to
See,
Logan.
the way that I see the Redskins, if they get that running game going with Peterson and Thompson, they're going to win the game. If they don't get that running game and have to play from behind, they do not come back to win the game. I think Dallas is going to make them throw the ball early, get up a touchdown or two early, so I'm going with Dallas.
I'm going to go Redskins. Thompson's going to come back healthy supposedly this week. Adrian Peterson's looked good on the backfield, running like a true man. And Cowboys have a good passing defense. The rushing defense isn't too great. And I just think Redskins have a lot more talent and consistency on their side of the ball versus Cowboys where they can't seem to find a passing game to save their life.
Yeah.
So this one, I already said my lock of the week. Sorry, Rams at 49ers. It got moved. So the primetime game has been moved to 125.
Well, yeah. Well, they were anticipating Jimmy Garoppolo being in the 49ers uniform all season, which is why they had, was it a 5-game stretch where they were in primetime games or something like that?
Probably. They've had them slated on Monday night for the Packers because of that.
Yep. They got a lot of primetime games just because of Jimmy G. So, obvious answer here, I'm taking the Rams. They're going to stop the 49ers. We're not going to let them put up like they've done the Packers.
Yeah, I'll take the Rams.
I'll take the Rams, but they'll give up points just like the Packers did. Marquise Goodwin's going to go for 150.
Ooh, all right. We'll see how that
Putting
goes.
up points.
Marquise Goodwin, man, he's going to light up Marcus Peters.
All right. My lock for the week, Bengals beat the Chiefs.
Wow.
That's a bold
All
lock.
right, yeah.
I like what I'm seeing of Andy Dalton this year. Joe Mixon is playing like a man on a mission and when he runs that ball. So I think it's too much for the Chiefs defense to handle. Bengals have a good scoring offense as well, especially with Boyd. That guy's been showing up.
Tyler Boyd, yeah, he's really good.
They need him. I mean, who would have thought Boyd over Ross? Ross has been almost...
Ross can't
John
stay
Ross
healthy.
can stay healthy, man.
If they had all three of them healthy, we could argue them as the best trio of wide receivers in the NFL. We could.
No, Ross
No.
hasn't done anything to
Ross
argue
hasn't
that.
done anything.
I was like, if he was healthy and he has
He
that
still
speed,
hasn't
it
done
could be.
anything.
Even whenever he was healthy, he hasn't done anything.
He was a healthy scratch all last year.
Dude, he's a trackster. That's all he is.
Just
One
like
trick pony.
who was it for the Steelers that had tracks on the draft? That was a year or two back.
Dre Archer.
There it is.
That
was,
like
5
super
years
fast
ago.
kid from Kent State. Yeah, that was more than 2 years ago.
That was crazy. So
And
what do
they
you guys
used
think?
Anthony Thomas, too. The Steelers did, didn't they?
No, it's Chiefs.
I thought they had Anthony Thomas for a little
Chiefs
bit.
have
wish.
Anthony Thomas still. Who do you guys take?
Oh,
Oh,
Chiefs.
Chiefs.
Chiefs?
Yeah.
All right, we'll see how that goes because I had Bengals my lock. We'll see how that goes. Last game, Monday Night Football.
This actually should be a good one.
Giants at Falcons.
Hopefully.
I think the
don't know.
Giants' offense gets back on track. I think they beat the Atlanta Falcons at the end with a Rosas kick for the win.
See, what sucks is the Giants' offense is terrible, Falcons' defense is terrible, but then the Falcons' offense is great, and the Giants' defense is good. So it's going to be interesting kind of crapshoot.
I think Barkley goes for 150 again.
I think Falcons win. I'm going to take the Falcons. Julio Jones is going to get in the end zone finally. He's going to get the looks in the end zone. Coleman's going to have a big game because he passed getting catches out of the backfield, also with Smith. They're a good combo right now. I just think Falcons too much for the Giants to handle. The Giants just can't get their offense to work, and you might see some coaching changes or some changes, hopefully, with the quarterback room.
Now, I'm going to ask you guys this after we made all of our picks. Eli Manning, when do you pull the plug?
Should have already pulled the plug 3 weeks ago.
I wouldn't say 3 weeks ago because he looked half decent against Carolina, but over the last 4 years, he's had multiple 3, 4, 5 game losing streaks. I mean, how long do you say it's not Eli?
Some of this year almost makes me wonder if the Giants are doing him a favor for ruining that consecutive start streak he had last year. That shouldn't have been ruined. I think you let him play probably 3 or 4 more games.
That
When's their
long?
bye week?
When's their bye week?
Because the biggest thing is they don't have anybody behind him that they could
In 2
justify putting in.
It's in 2 weeks. Week 9, they have their bye week.
Yeah, week 9. So they play Atlanta this week, then Washington the week after, and then they have the bye week.
See, I just...
You got to pull the plug now.
Eli is not doing you any favors to win. That offensive line is not good enough to keep a pocket upright for as long as he needs, and Eli is not a very hard quarterback to bring down, nor is he very mobile.
I think you let him play 3 or 4 more games, and then you put Lilletta in, see what he can do. I mean, you're in the same boat regardless. You're not going anywhere, and then you turn to the draft, look to get a guy like Herbert or Haskins or
I would try to get
whoever.
Herbert. That would be a perfect fit for him, I think.
Dude, his quarterback class is just not that strong, man.
We'll see. I think this is a lot better quarterback class than a lot of people give it credit for.
Matt Miller was saying he was talking to a scout, and the scout said this class just isn't really eye-popping. It's a lot of defensive and offensive linemen.
The defensive line, this draft class looks great. This class looks phenomenal. But if you're looking for a quarterback, you should have jumped the gun last year.
Yeah.
And actually, I had seen Matt Miller was talking to somebody, and he said that was the reason everybody jumped into the top 10 to get a quarterback, was because they saw this next class coming after this and was like, ugh, not
Really?
too sure. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
I know he said that the scout said it was frustrating, is the word he used to scout this draft class.
Yeah.
They're more raw class, I would say. I mean, you got Greer, Herbert, Drew Lock, and who else?
Haskins.
That's not a bad quarterback class. I mean, they're really
McSorley.
raw. So
Well, we've had a very, very good QB class the last 3 years. I mean, you've had Mahomes, you've had Watson. That was 2 years ago. Last year you had Goff and Wentz. No, that was 3 years ago. Correct? That was 2016's draft.
Goff and Wentz.
Yeah. So last year was Mahomes and
Watson.
And then this past year you have Darnold who's looking like he's a stud. You have Rosen looking like he's a stud. Allen is playing currently. And you have Baker who looks like a stud.
Oh, man.
So that's what I'm saying. You eventually you're going to have that dry spell where there's QBs who are top rated, but then you're going to have duds on all of them.
Yeah.
All right, let's jump into fantasy football. That was all of our predictions for the week. Let's see if any come true. Some are locks, upsets. I mean, let's look forward to next week. But jumping into fantasy football, who's your one starter of the week?
My one starter of the week is going to be Jameis Winston.
Oh, you took
What? I'm sorry, man. Real life W's don't matter as long as fantasy quarterbacks can put up numbers, and we've seen it from Winston his entire career. He's not getting dubs like on the field, but like on the fantasy football gridiron, he's easily able to put up 20, 25 points a game. So I think he's a definite must-start, and what's probably going to be another high-scoring game for Tampa Bay. Like you said, Austin, that might go 30 for 30 on both sides.
Yeah.
So my start for the week, I'm going to say Kenny Galladay for Detroit. This dude's been great ever since week one. He's averaged over 4 receptions every game, over 50 yards receiving. Already has 3 touchdowns on the year. Nothing short. If you're in a PPR league under 10 points a game, start him again. This is a good Miami defense, but they're giving this guy the ball a lot, and he's going to keep up this production. Start him.
I would say my start of the week is going to be Adam Thielen going up against the New York Jets. I think he's going to have another 30-point game, 20 to 30-point game.
How many receiving yards do you think he gets?
Over 100.
Do you think he breaks the 150 mark?
It depends on how the game goes. If it's a blowout, no.
Okay.
If it's a close game, yes. I shouldn't say a close game, but as long as the Vikings don't stop throwing the ball in the third quarter, he should eclipse 150.
Who's your sit of the week?
Isaiah Crowell. I think dude has been the definition of boom or bust. He's been super inconsistent. He had that big game against Denver where he popped off for over 200 yards. Went back against a really soft Colts defense, was only able to put up 40 yards on the ground.
I heard he got hurt.
Did he?
I don't know.
I didn't see anything.
Somebody was trying to trade me Isaiah Crowell for Odell Beckham. Isaiah Crowell and somebody else for Odell Beckham. And when I pointed that out, he said that it was because of an injury. That he only put up 40 yards.
Then nothing popped up whenever I was doing my research. So.
Okay, that's all I need to know. I didn't watch the game, so I couldn't tell you.
No, I didn't get to watch it either. But regardless, Isaiah Crowell, inconsistent. He ain't going to be putting up those numbers all year. Sit him.
I hate saying this one. I think you said Jordan Howard.
No, that's understandable.
I mean, this guy has been really inconsistent. I know a lot of fantasy owners are very frustrated.
Yeah.
Tariq Cohen's been a better option in fantasy for this team. And I saw somewhere, what is his name? Brown. What's his first name? I forget. Fantasy guy. Brett Brown or whatever his name is. I saw on his Twitter. And he said that his workload has decreased a couple percentages each week.
Yeah.
Slowly kind of being faded out of the offense, which is worrisome.
Well, if you think about it, that offense is a lot like Kansas City's offense, and Jordan Howard's not a receiving back out of the backfield.
Yeah, he is.
Jordan Howard, not nearly as much as Tariq Cohen.
Not Cohen.
Yeah, not
He's
to
no
the extent,
Tariq Cohen.
but he still can catch.
That's what I'm saying, though. They went from an I formation downhill running game to a college spread look offense, which fits Cohen perfectly, but not Howard. I wouldn't be surprised if the Bears try to move Howard.
I saw a couple things. They said he could be traded before the trade deadline, but I don't think Cohen's big enough to go between the tackles. You got to have a back.
They don't run between the tackles.
You're going to need to at some point, and you got to run him if he does it.
Good.
I don't know. I feel like Howard doesn't fit that scheme.
Who's your sit?
Ooh, who does Cincinnati play again? Kansas City. So it's not.
Yeah, to play Kansas City.
I don't know who's on a bye week. Oh, sit any Packers players you have.
Yeah. We're gonna go on a branch. Sit Le'Veon Bell this week.
Oh, you sure, man? He's a pretty good football player.
You know what? I'm gonna be bold. He's not getting more than 2 points.
Go on, who are you sitting, Austin?
Oh, I would probably sit either Ito Smith or Tevin Coleman. I wouldn't play them against the Giants.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Even with Freeman out?
Even with Freeman out, I feel like that's going to be an air game.
I saw somewhere where it's hit or miss for Smith or Coleman. Whoever gets the more goal line carries, which usually Smith. Whoever gets that touchdown a week is the better option.
Well, like the Falcons have shown, they like Ito Smith a lot. They're not going to shy away from giving him the football. So,
he's a rookie too.
Yeah, even in terms of Tevin Coleman's value, I'm not so sure his value takes an absolute huge spike.
Yeah, it's going to be different. Kind of a toss-up at that point. Because what if they slowly fade Coleman out? They have Smith now. Because Coleman is a free agent after this year. So that's something to think about.
Yeah.
Who's your sleeper?
I think it's going to be CJ Uzuma, the Bengals' third-string tight end.
What?
So Tyler Eifert out for the year with his awful, gruesome ankle
he
injury.
Always gets one, I swear.
Tyler Kroft was out last week. Uzuma was able to put up 6 receptions for 54 yards against the Steelers defense. Goes into Kansas City against the dead last-ranked defense in terms of passing yards allowed. This should be a high-flying games in terms of passing the football. I know the Bengals have Joe Mixon, but in Andy Dalton's, he's proven to develop a rapport with Uzuma. And, if you're looking for a sleeper, he's definitely one, especially at the tight end position, which has been awful this year.
Yeah, the tight end has been – it's very top-heavy.
Yeah, it is.
My sleeper is going to be Corey Clement for the Eagles. Running back?
Yeah.
That's my sleeper.
Yeah, I've been going back and forth between him and Smallwood to see who's going to kind of get the
I think he gets all the goal line carries, so I think he's the sleeper of the week because I think the Eagles are going to get a couple goal line situations.
I'm going to say Emmanuel Sanders for the Broncos going against Arizona.
Not a sleeper. Emmanuel Sanders?
All right.
He's a must start every week. He's a solid wide receiver 2 at worst.
So let me flip it then. I'll say Christian Kirk.
I'll take that.
I'll take that.
I mean, you could even technically say a sleeper to actually have a productive game and not just get in the end zone at the end.
No, I think he gets it. I think it's an end zone. I mean,
no. I'm saying David Johnson.
Oh,
if you outside of his last minute touchdowns, he really hasn't done much fantasy wise.
Yeah.
He goes up against the Denver Broncos, who is one of the worst rush defenses in the league, especially after giving up 208 to Gurley, and on a short week. And we've seen running backs on Thursday nights
against
will they run David Johnson? That's the question.
They'd be dumb not to. I mean, it's right there in front of them.
Like I said already, why not?
McCoy's going to pull out all the stops this week to try and save his job. So
all the slant routes.
all the wide receiver screens on 3rd and 20 to the slowest player on the team, Larry Fitzgerald.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for joining us on the Pylon Pond podcast for the fantasy edition to end us up here. We're still missing one thing. We'd also like to do a shout out to our little segment we do every week. It's the anniversary.
The Denny Green Minute. Is it?
It is.
What is it?
I tagged you on Facebook. It's the anniversary on this date when back in whatever year it was. This is the date.
12 years ago. 2006.
Yep, 2006.
Wow.
12 years ago. This is the anniversary. So with that being said, tell us what it's about, Donnie. Let's break it down.
So the Denny Green Minute is basically a minute at the end of the show that we take, and we get to rant about anything. Usually it's the host that does it. It's just 1 minute to rant about anything. Stems from Denny Green, the old Cardinals coach who kind of defaulted and kind of had a meltdown at the end of the Bears-Cardinals game here on Monday night, 12 years ago to this day. So, yeah, we like to pay a little homage to him.
Perfect. So you have something else in?
Austin wants it.
I do want
Austin wants it. He's pissed.
All right.
Let's hear it.
I had it last week taking over. Why not? Let's pass on to our guest, Austin. You got a minute on the clock. Donnie, you got him ready?
Yeah, I was surprising. They're kind of irritated. Okay.
I just thought about it here.
I like it.
Hold up, Skylar. You don't get this.
Right.
I got this.
Austin, you get a minute to rant about whatever you want, my man. Starting in 3, 2, 1, go.
So my rant this week is going to be about how people can go and say that Patrick Mahomes or any other QB for that matter isn't as good as we thought they were just because they ended up losing the game, yet they put up 40 points. How can you blame a quarterback for what happens on the defensive side of the ball? It just irritates me beyond belief. Like, I understand if the QB puts up 14 points, he didn't do enough to win. But to say that Mahomes didn't do enough on Sunday night or any other QB for that matter that puts up 30 plus, or even my rule of thumb is 3 touchdowns. If you put up 3 touchdowns, you should win the game as an offense. But to see people bashing him on Twitter and saying, oh, Tom Brady beat him. Well, really, Tom Brady beat the Chiefs defense, not Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes beat the Patriots defense too by putting up 40. If you would have told me the Patriots, or not the Patriots, if you would have told me the Chiefs put up 40 points on Sunday Night Football, I would have said, okay, they won the football game. It just irritates me beyond belief that people can say that just because the team didn't win because of the defense.
Damn.
All right, then.
I feel like you've had that brewing for a minute.
Maybe.
Thank you guys joining us on the anniversary of the Danny Green Minute.
Yeah.
This has been the Pylon to Pylon podcast, where we love football and hate your opinion. Again, check us out on Spreaker, iTunes. Even hit us on our Instagram. We got some funny stuff going on there. I like to
Yeah, the memes.
Yeah, some good stuff.
It means with the wrong players.
If you got questions, you can DM any one of us here. You can go to the email at theptppodcast@gmail.com. Hit us up, subscribe, like us, and download us. Get us in your home. Let us bring you joy.
Before we invade your home.
Take it over.
Invader Zim style.
That's right.
Thank you guys so much. This has been the Pylon to Pylon podcast with your host, Skylar Burkhart.
Donnie Druin.
And filling in for Richie Bradshaw, Austin Frizzoco.
Thank you guys. Have a great night.